Okay, now we've got to the end of where we're actually going to start putting our pincushion together. So this pincushion isn't complete just yet, but this is what it will look like. The first stage, so you should have, at this point, you should have 6 segments all sewn up and attached, the teardrops, and then you should have a flower which has all been embroidered, and then you should have a small circle of, well, it's the same size as these ones, and your segments, which we are going to attach together. So yours will have the teardrops already on, but I'm going to demonstrate with these ones which haven't got embroidery on, just because it's easier, less distracting. So yours will have the teardrops on, and we're going to join those together with a blanket stitch. So when you're putting them together, you need to make sure, obviously, that the top of the teardrop on both sides is facing the top. So we're going to create this blanket stitch edge. Now, as we're doing it, you can see on this final one that there is a small gap at the top, which is fine because that's going to be covered with the flower. There is a larger gap at the bottom, which is fine because that's where we're going to stuff it, and then we will cover it with this one. So as you are stitching, you want to bear in mind that the top of your teardrop is where you want the tightest stitching. You want the closure at the top to be smaller than the closure at the bottom. Okay, so I am going to thread up my needle. I used the lilac thread for the blanket stitching, and this is the top. So imagine that your teardrop is attached onto there like that, and your teardrop is attached to that on there. So you have got wrong sides together, the right side's facing out, and we're going to sew from this top all the way down to the bottom. No, sorry, we're going to start from the bottom and go all the way to the top. Sorry, got confused there. So I've got a knot at the end of my thread ready to go. I'm going to do blanket stitch. So I'm going to start by putting my needle in between the sandwich and pulling it out to the front. Done too much talking today. My words are all getting stuck. Okay. So it's only coming through, there's the knot hidden in there. And I'm going to do a stitch going over the top and coming back through to the front. So there we go, one stitch, which is going to go over the top, not to the side, over the top. There we go. So this has gone, I'm trying to get it so it's not blurry, so it's gone all the way through, and my thread is at the front here. Okay, I'm going to take this thread and I'm just going to run it underneath that stitch I've just done. So it is now coming out. Oh, it's so, I'm sorry, it keeps on going blurry. Okay, I'm going to have to hold it there. Right, put your needle in, straight through to the other side. Oops, sorry, it's all, right. Okay, put your needle in, straight through to the other side. Take your working thread, wrap it around, pull through. That's how I do my blanket stitch. You may do it a different way. This is just how I like to do it. Needle in the front, straight through to the back, wrap and pull. And you're going to do that all the way along the edge to the top. So I'm going to do it again. I'm really sorry that the camera seems to keep on going blurry on me. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. Trying to keep your stitches even as you go along the edge. Okay, so I have stitched up along the edge and I'm getting towards the top now. So I just want to show you how to finish it off when you get to the very top. So you're going to take your stitching right to that point. Okay, I'm going to go through the front, wrap it again, do a blanket stitch right to the end, like that. Remember, this is the top, just going to go under the flower. And then you're going to finish it off inside. So you're going to open it up and bring your thread into the inside, and you're going to do a small little stitch just inside and knot it there and pull that bit nice and tight. So you're pulling the two edges together, and then you can cut that bit off. So what you will have got now is you will have sewn, for example, these two bits together. So you'll have got two that are sewn together with one blanket stitch seam, just like this. And you need to do that for all of the portions. So I did two together, two together, two together, and then I sewed the two together, so I had 4. And then I sewed these two onto the edge, leaving me with one seam that wasn't sewn. So once you've got to that point where all of the segments are together, but you've just got one seam that is left, at this point, you don't want to stitch from bottom to top. You want to stitch it together from top to bottom because you want your thread to be down here. So imagine that you have done all of this together. You're on your final edge. You are going to stitch from the top all the way down to about here. And that's when you'll keep your thread attached. You're going to start stuffing your pincushion. Stuff, stuff, stuff until it's quite firm. You want it quite firm and squishy till it's the shape that you want. And then you are going to continue stitching until you get to the bottom and finish your thread off. At that point, you can add small bits of stuffing to get the shape that you want. So for example, here, you can see the way that this seam is sitting. But here, it's a bit baggy. It's not quite the same. There's not as much stuffing in this bit. So you can add more in with that little hole left at the bottom until you are happy with the shape. So do all the seams together. The last one from the top down to the bottom, stuff it, finish it off, and you should be left with something that looks like this. And that is ready then for you to sew the flower onto the top.